right, welcome back. We are here for Brindlewood Bay Golden Grifters, episode 3, I think. Okay, so we're going to do the cozy vignettes first. Again, cozy vignettes are the montage scenes of our of our mavens doing what they do. Like during the credit crawl or just before the credit crawl, and then the theme show, the theme song of the show plays. I will have hopefully an intro at some point soon where we will have an actual intro song, royalty free, and yeah, we will have something a lot more snazzy than me doing that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on the cozy vignettes. We are assuming that from last time that like everything that happened at dusk, like as dusk was falling, and then this final round of the GBBBO is going to be starting off in the daytime, like the next day. Okay, so let's see your mavens doing what they're doing in the morning to get ready for this final round. Theme song plays. And who do we see first?
Cynthia. The scene opens on Cynthia, and it's early in the morning, and she is drinking a cup of coffee, black, and reading over her cake recipe for the day and feeding Caviar his breakfast, which of course is raw, imported, handmade, artisan, because Caviar will have nothing less than the best. And she's reading and drinking her coffee and going over everything, and meanwhile she's also kind of slyly looking out her window, seeing if anybody else is crawling around the scene yet.
I'll say I could go next. So I think Mazi is it's the big finale to the show, so she's got to look her best. Forget baking. We know that's not her strong suit, but if she looks good doing it, maybe she'll win some points, right? So she's got a cookbook open. It's open to a random page. It may or may not be cake related. She's looking at it every so often as she's trying on like different hats and like switching out and like, no, not quite the right one I'm looking for. And then like trying on like different like brooches and just, putting on an apron to make sure that the brooch isn't like covered by the apron, and just like, yeah, I want to look my best. Yeah, some sugar. Okay. Oh no, this hat will not do. And like chucks it off to the side. Too big, So she's wants to look top notch today. Distraction from her cake.
And Pearl does not do mornings. Pearl has had a career that has ensured that, on the whole, she has not had to do mornings. So when she's confronted with the need to actually be up and perky and such, there's a lot of shuffling around, grumbling, pouring down slightly alarming quantities of coffee. But once she's done that and sort of shaken herself somewhat more awake, she snaps into a different mode. And you just see the lights come on and the gears start turning, and she starts moving very efficiently through her morning routine, getting dressed. The clothes are very much in the sweet grandmother mode that she usually dresses in when we've seen her, and she clearly has a mental checklist. She's not looking at anything written down, but she's ticking off on her fingers a list of things she needs to do and have prepared, and it's very clear that she is a creature of caffeine when required to do mornings. So there's a sharp before and after distinction.
Nice. And I think as that happens, the credit crawl like finishes, and then like we flash to the after picture of Pearl having had caffeine, and then we enter into previously on, can't, as I was saying before, I don't remember whether I introduced this the last time that we had an episode, but I'd like to hear what people do remember from last episode, and just kind of recap, what made an impression upon you from last time. Okay, before we move into the actual day of.
Do you want these in chronological order or just like highlight reel style?
Oh, highlight reel style, please.
Good. So I could definitely say that Mr. Biceps was maybe being hit on or caught canoodling with good old Donna a little bit. And and also shortly after that, or at the same time rather, I found the ball gag, whip, and handcuffs in Donna's dressing table, after which I was found out and played it off super cool. I do remember that.
On the last episode, we found out that Melanie Blair's parents used to own a bakery, and it is Paul's fault that that bakery went out of business, and also that she knows where the murder weapon is. She revealed to one of us that it is in an adjacent, I believe, trash can or dumpster, trash receptacle. We also found out that Scott Lamb is fond of bow ties, and that, according to my notes, I am good at remembering things, especially flavors. That's not right. Yeah, Donna Riviera was getting frisky with Buck, and he shall not be forgiven.
I remember something else about Scott. Let me double check my notes here. But he had been on the show before, and he got kicked off the show because of an on-screen argument with Paul over some burnt muffins. But we also have an indication that the strong feelings between the two of them may not have been confined strictly to show-related or on-camera matters. There are outtakes that suggest there was a good bit more going on there. Let's see. What else? We know that Jane enjoys a bit of a tipple. Not that this is terribly surprising, but could be relevant. Yeah, I think that's those are the most significant things that I remember that we have learned.
We also got a void clue, or like a void hint, or a void creature that was climbing on top of the baking tent at the very end.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you did. So, we'll see what that means. If it means anything, we don't know. It was a shadow, something. Okay. So, as it is, all of our, all of our mavens have at least one condition. Okay. So, taking a look at it, we have Pearl, who has the munchies.
Yeah.
We have
I seem to recall I was playing video games with Tim and Sue, and that
and
there
if
was
they
a
had
good bit of
herbal refreshment. I
Yes.
mean, yes. And then of course Cynthia's still affected by the poem by Buck, and then hit a nerve. Oh boy. And then Mazi has the dough thickens because somebody wanted to be a punster like almost all session last time. So there. All right. So we open up this session with you guys have the option to do cozy moves. Again, this is the morning of the finale of the show of GBBBO. Okay. So, before you set off back to the tent to make your showstopper. All right. You can engage in cozy moves again, like, whomever whomever's cozy activity you're using will have the option to create a clue. I mean, you both would clear a condition, of course, and then would the person whose cozy activity you're using would have the option to create a clue, stumble onto a clue relevant to the active mystery. Okay. And of course, as always, the clue cannot conclusively solve the mystery by itself, which is who killed Paul Riviera. All right. So, yeah, whomever wants to pair up and go on and do a cozy activity.
I did mine last time, so I didn't know if somebody else. I don't know who didn't do theirs last time.
I think we didn't do Cynthia's because I seem to recall that
Yeah, I think I was the only one who didn't do one last time.
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted to do
you
one.
didn't host last time.
I didn't
Yeah,
host. I didn't
Yeah.
host. I will
You
host
just-
this time.
Okay.
My cozy activity is knitting. So I am clearly knitting to sort of relax and center myself and zen and like try and get into a calm liminal space prior to the competition. I've already had my coffee. I've gone over my recipe. I'm probably in the common tent. I don't remember what that is called.
Snack tent.
The one with the food and where all the people congregate. That
But
one.
not the one where we bake, because that's a
Not
different
that
one
one.
with food.
Not the baking tent. No, no, no.
The one with the
other
craft
tent with the
services
food.
table and
Craft
right.
services.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Thank
what it is.
you.
Yeah. Who are you
Thank you,
cozy
Kathleen.
moving with?
I would be happy to have you both, actually, if you
Oh.
wanted. If we could do that.
It's just only another Maven because I mean, like it's like
I'll
the
go.
idea of being a cozy activity, you know.
Okay.
So just like kind of like an intimate, friendly moment with just one other.
Okay.
Mazi,
will
would you like
be-
to have an intimate moment with me?
Yes, let's do it. Let's be intimate with your needles.
Whoa. Ironically, this is the first game I think I'm not knitting during the game. Yeah. Okay, so craft services tent, me and Mazi. Mazi's there clearly, but I don't know if she's what are you up to, Mazi? I will be knitting a scarf.
So you're knitting. I'm pretty good with scissors, but you probably don't want me near your yarn with my scissors. So
You
I've
can have your own
tucked
yarn.
my scissors away. Maybe I don't think I could do the knitting, but maybe I could do the crocheting. So I'm going to be trying to crochet, one hook. I'm just focusing and
That chain
chit-chatting.
stitch.
That chain stitch, man. I'm chain
If you-
stitching for days.
You can make a chain stitch like 6 feet, 12 feet, 18 feet long.
It just
If you
keeps
could-
going.
If you can figure out how to turn that chain stitch into a tube, which is a super easy trick, you can make a really long tube. I used to do that, and then I would pop them over my head. Like if they're short, then they make a scarf, and if they're long, then they make you look creepy.
Like a inflatable man.
Yeah, like a wavy, wacky, wavy, inflatable arm flailing tube man. We'll just make one for each limb.
And
we'll
then
do
we
'em
can
in
cut them
aha
out and have
orange or something.
masks for our. I mean, no,
Perfect.
we're not doing that anymore.
Oh, right. No,
But
definitely
if we
don't
did,
need disguises. And caviar's there, of course. Of course, enjoying my yarn bag. So, Mazi, how are you feeling about the competition today?
Well, I've got the perfect outfit picked out, and I'm super excited to wear it. I think it's going to just look amazing on screen. It's the perfect color of like bronze, like a bronze top, and then black pants. It's going to look so good.
What about the hat, though? What does the hat look like?
Oh, just wait. I have a real nice fascinator picked out. I think it's going to wow them.
Excellent. I'm so glad that you're well prepared for the baking competition.
Oh, and I'm making some kind of pineapple cake.
Mm-hmm. Oh, pineapple. That's
like the pineapple upside down cake where you put the cake into the can and then you flip the whole can upside down. And then when you pull it off, it goes.
Sounds delicious.
Kathleen.
I'm making not that. I'm making a chocolate German Schittort cake. Schittort? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I got the recipe off of a website. And it is a German cake with 20 layers.
Oh,
The layers
sounds
are very
delicious.
thin, though. They're very thin layers, so I
Like
don't think it'll take
crepes.
me. Kind of like that, like pancakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there like frosting on it?
chocolate frosting
Ooh,
with a
fudgy
white
chocolate or like
with a white chocolate drizzle?
Ooh, that's gonna look really, really classy.
Yeah, but it doesn't make that sound when it comes out of the pan. I think that's really going to be
It's a selling
clutch.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm super looking for that. Have you tried the recipe before?
Oh heavens, no!
Oh,
I never taste my own baking. I only eat Pearl's baking.
oh, she has the best baking.
She really does. What are we doing here? She's amazing.
We're trying.
We are trying.
As I've made like a giant knot with my crochet hook. Did you talk to Buck at all?
No, he's been oddly distant. Like at first he seemed like he was really attentive, and then it must be the murder or all the extra people on set, or I don't know. He just seems preoccupied. Have you talked to him?
A little bit. I do think you should know that maybe Donna might be kind of forcing herself on him.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I kind of saw them and she was very all over him and not in like a, ooh, you just have nice arms way. And supposedly, though, she's trying to get him some kind of bodybuilding magazine thing, but I don't know. I don't know if I buy it.
Well, I absolutely do not approve.
I didn't think you
Absolutely
would.
not.
I didn't think you would, but maybe you can find a few minutes to chit chat with about him and figure it out. Because I don't know, he seems like a nice guy, and I'm sure she's grieving, but that's a different way to grieve, and we all know that. And I'm crocheting big knot.
Interesting. I might have to accidentally lose one of my knitting needles.
So
I
that
don't
he
trust
can
that woman at all.
find it, right?
Yeah, yes, no. I don't trust that woman at all. Not a
Right.
lick. I don't trust her.
I don't either. And do a quick look around, see who's kind of around. I'm assuming there's nobody else really. Maybe a couple like crew member coming through getting their morning snacks or something. I'll lean and be like, I definitely think there's some other stuff going on. She had some fun bedroom time stuff in her room, if you know what I mean.
Far be it from me.
No, but who is she using that on? Because she got a new trailer after Paul.
Mazi.
I'm just saying.
That
Just
is
saying.
a completely inappropriate.
I'm just pointing out the obvious. Making a knot. It's like halfway around one arm, and I'm like trying to pull it through.
Would you allow, I mean, we don't have this really in the Brindlewood Bay, but would you allow like a little bit of a keeper aside?
Sure.
So I'm thinking as you're making this, Mazi, I think, you're turning it around, you're like, like around your arm and all this kind of stuff. But I think in a weird way, it starts to, and you don't notice this, Cynthia, because, you're used to Mazi like fooling around with stuff. So, and you're actually intent upon like what you're doing after, especially what you just heard about Buck.
Yeah.
But I think, as you're doing the little twisty turny thing on your arm, Mazi, to the audience, it looks like an Ouroboros.
Like it's all just like in.
Yeah. Like it starts to look like a snake, like chewing on its tail.
Yeah.
Just for funsies.
I love that idea that she's accidentally going to make an incredible piece of artwork.
Mm-hmm. I do like to tinker with stuff, so that would make sense, like cars and things.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is totally like that.
Totally like that. All right, so let's cut the scene and then let's look at some conditions. All right, so Mazi, what do you think? Dough thickens. you let your friend know like shit going down. So yeah.
I don't think it's going away. I think I still
Okay.
have it.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm just kneading it and caressing it more.
Making it complicated. Oh God. And then Cynthia, what do you think that like either of the conditions are, like really is-
I think I'm definitely going to discard the poem by Buck.
Oh, okay.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
You're not smitten by him anymore. You have to find out, is she going after him?
I
She doesn't
wasn't
really
in the
care.
first place. He was smitten with me.
But that poem.
We just really wanted you to go for
We
We
really
did.
wanted you to go for it. We really did.
Go
I'm a
for it.
fan.
especially Pearl, but Pearl's advice is always going to be
Spicy.
yes,
It's a ship. It's a
get
ship.
you some girl. I mean,
Do it.
Ship it.
Sips.
Yes. Okay. So sorry. And then yeah. So we cut that scene, and then where do we find Pearl?
she is now that she's awake and prepared, she did set her alarm early enough that she has plenty of time. So I think just kind of to limber up and also make a nice breakfast. She's making a batch of muffins. Pumpkin muffins with dark chocolate chips. So if one of her friends wants to drop by in the hopes of breakfast on their way to that tent, they would be
Say
welcome.
either one of us. We both like muffins. Actually, I'll say Cynthia probably can. I would probably be having to go get ready because I gotta get my
Yeah, you're
my outfit.
preening a bit too much.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I absolutely will. I'm gonna go ahead and poke my head in. Do I smell muffins?
yes.
Chocolate? What are you doing in here?
Oh, I needed to do something for breakfast. I didn't have anything on hand. Finished off the banana bread yesterday. And so I just figured I'd throw together a batch of muffins before heading to the tent. Come on in. Coffee?
Yes. I can
I could
never
make
have
a
enough coffee.
fresh pot. I kind of finished off the one that I started, but
Oh my goodness. It smells lovely in here. I can't believe you're baking in order to prepare for a baking competition.
I mean, it's like limbering up for a run. I'm told. Not that I jog or whatever.
Running's never really been my forte, or baking, actually. You're incredible at it, though.
Well, thank you. I've always enjoyed it, and for once, it's actually, well, it has often come in handy, but usually not on this scale.
Yep. So, what did you get up to yesterday?
Well, I talked to various people. I spent a good while with our hosts, uh, though a lot of that was spent playing video games and, ooh, I don't know if I've turned into a lightweight since the Summer of Love or what, but are my eyes still red? Do I need to go find some eye drop?
Do you have any left?
No, sorry. I was just it was secondhand.
Damn.
Though I'm sure Timothy could hook you up if you wanted.
Maybe I will pay him a visit.
Yeah.
Maybe I will.
He seems like a very nice young man.
He does. He's quite a congenial host, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Do you suspect him at all? Do either of them seem like they have any nefarious intent?
I'm inclined to say that Timothy is not under consideration at all. I mean, he's if he has a temper we haven't seen, I might see him doing something in the heat of the moment, but I cannot see him doing something as calculated as the whole tied up with those neatly braided cords and all that. And I don't see that. Sue might have hidden depths. I'm not certain.
Honestly, I trust anybody who partakes in herbal refreshments. They're not the type of people to kill other people.
Certainly less likely than the heavy drinkers, I will say that.
I'm inclined to agree. So are you looking forward to the competition today?
Oh, very much. Very much. I think I've got a winner of a recipe.
I'm making a shit tort.
Oh, nice choice. Assuming you mean a shish tort.
Ah, yeah, yes, the German pancake cake with the layers and the chocolate. I've been
Right, yes.
practicing. It looks quite nice.
Good. Good. Yeah, that's a lovely effect when you have all those layers and you slice through and you see the layers and the filling alternate.
Really a terrible name for it, though.
It does not come across well in English. But yeah. I say tactfully, not pointing out, well, it's better if you pronounce it correctly. But
Excellent.
but yes, I have all the plans for mine, but you'll have to wait and see what it is.
I can't wait.
Okay, so let's take a look. Do you think you've addressed hit a nerve?
I forget what that one was for.
I forget too. Sorry.
I'm gonna go with
That
yes.
was for Scott.
That was Scott, yeah.
Oh, that's
when you
right, yeah.
when you asked about the horribly failed recipe.
Oh, right.
That was his
Yeah.
deceased
I
grandmother.
asked him if it was a family recipe.
I mean, like, he was like heartbroken because he fucked it up, and it was his grandma's recipes, Mima's or Nana's. I forget what I said.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Mima, I think.
So.
I would say probably not on that one.
Okay. All right. And then Pearl. I mean, I think by now,
I think I'm
better.
I've leveled out.
Okay, go ahead.
And I am going and finding some eye drops just to make sure that I'm
Okay.
camera ready.
Oh, it's like, because I mean, I think the first person that would probably comment on it if you hadn't would be Timothy.
Oh yeah.
But a rough night, love.
That the lingering tail end of that may well be why I chose to bake muffins before going to the baking competition, though.
Yeah, gonna say so. All right. Okay, given that, all right, we're going to say that now we're going to enter into speed to the tent. I mean, yeah, to you all, like, at your stations and you're baking and you are like getting everything together. You're like, Buck is there, like he's got the camera trained on all of you. Maybe he trains the camera a little bit more on Cynthia and kind of like does the thing where it's like he's looking at the camera and he's just like kind of looking at you and like alternating between like giving you these looks and then going back to the camera and then like just recording everything that everybody else is doing, but he'll still kind of look at you. Anyway, yeah, and then Melanie's hard at work. She's trying, you could see the determined line of her mouth as she's trying to get her recipe together, and she's like, furiously like having all of her mixers and all that stuff, done. Okay. And then yeah, Scott he's still looking a little dejected, but I mean he's trying to buck himself up every few minutes, like, I can do this. I can do this. You can almost see his mouth saying that, like, it's like, I can do this. Yeah, yeah. And then he's continuing onward. And then, like, anytime the camera comes by to record, and then the presenters come by, like Sue is like, trying to joke with you all, and Timothy's making some fun remarks and just finding out what each of you are doing. So I'm gonna go around for each of you and finding out what you're making, and then I will ask another player what they think. If is it a triumph or is it a disappointment? Okay. So again, this is the showstopper. You are tasked with making a beautiful cake sculpture, something that is meaningful to you, telling the story of not just about baking, but about your life. What do you feel is the most meaningful to you? Tell us the story in cake form. And then do the ready, set, bake and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, as the camera pans around to each of you in turn, let's start with Mazi. Mazi, what are you making?
All right.
I mean, you did say in the cozy mood, but I mean, like, just to give us an elaboration of like,
it's a treat. So I specifically requested a, like, not just a big can of pineapple, but one of the like BJ special cans that's like a vat of pineapple. And I opened it up, I slit the side, the wrapper off of it, and I basically dumped out a bunch of the juice, and I actually mixed everything in it and put the whole thing into the oven. And then when it comes out, I'm basically just kind of turn the whole thing or go, and then do it. And when they ask how that represents me, is that when I do that now, or do I wait until later?
I'm trying to figure out whether I want it now or if I want it later. No, because they usually do like a a little bit of an explanation, like not the whole thing, but like a little bit of the explanation, for the camera, like as you're making it.
Okay. So just like as a little bit, be like, well, pineapple is like a little bit zesty, a little bit sweet, like me. But I'll give you more when we do the judging. And I'm like trying to keep it mystery as I'm like slathering on just like straight up buttercream icing. It's nothing special. I'm trying to make it smooth, but I look fabulous. By the way, I need to post the my outfit. I look fabulous. I picked out my outfit and I posted in the Discord for you.
Oh dear. Okay. Oh my. Holy scheisse. So good.
I look way better than my cake.
And Jane will kind of comment a little bit. It's like, you look so put together, dear. But you are, I will say, in perfect contrast to your bake. I hope it will turn out as elegant inside as you look outside.
It's going to be a treat.
We hope so. And then Timothy kind of gives you a little, like a wink and a nod as they move on to the next station. So you know what? I'm just going to save that. I'm going to save the triumph and disappointment part until I get to each of you. Okay.
Okay.
So, like they move on to, they move on to Scott, who's like, furiously making something that looks like it's a bunch of like, maybe like 5 tiers. And then, Melanie, who has decided to make something that is sculptural, that is like, has like those dowels that like to go through each of the layers to get it to stand. But I mean, like, if they're not beautifully placed one on top of the other, like they're actually like kind of skewed, like almost as if she's creating some kind of like weird ass steps. Like if you can imagine like the Escher drawings or something like that, she's kind of doing something weird like that. I have no idea. So, and then we come over to Cynthia, like, when they come over and, talk to you about what you're doing. I think at this point it's like Sue, and then maybe like Jane's kind of like in the background, like taking a little peek, without saying anything. What do you tell the camera, and what do you tell Sue that you're making?
Well, today I'm baking a German cake that has 20 layers called a Chitot, and it reminds me of my time in Europe that I spent with my husband. Bless his heart. He's passed now. It's vanilla cake with apricot jelly in between each of the 20 layers and a chocolate glaze and a white white chocolate decoration on top. It's sort of a web pattern on top. And then when you cut into it, each slice of the web becomes a slice of the cake. And it reminds me of my late husband because while it's not much to look at, it gives me an appreciation for odd combinations.
And this is where, like, the camera's still trained on you, but then, like, Buck's face comes out from behind and just, yeah, like kind of like that look of, yeah, odd combination. Yeah. He's mouthing this, by the way, like, as because the camera's like right there. And yeah. So yeah, they just kind of like, like nod and move on, and then, like, Sue's giving you a little salute, like cluck. And then they head over to Pearl. Pearl, what does York showstopper look like?
Well, the first thing that they'll notice walking over is that the fragrance of citrus, orange specifically, and rosemary, which may well occasion some comments, since it's not usual in desserts. But what I have here is a 3-layer honey rosemary cake with blood orange curd filling, honey sour cream frosting, and edible flower decorations.
Like Timothy's like got his hands behind his back, and he's just like looking excited, like, that sounds fabulous. Huh.
Thank you.
You're outdoing yourself.
Well, I'm pretty pleased with this combination. I've practiced it, of course, multiple times at home, but it balances the tanginess of the citrus. I'm using blood oranges for the curd. That's why it's that vivid color. I'm gonna pick up a clean spoon, scrape a little curd off the bowl. The bowl's already been emptied, but I'll scrape a little off the bowl and offer it to Tim.
That's amazing. Tangy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wait, did you put a little tipple in this?
Just a tiny touch of Cointreau, just a tiny.
So proud of himself.
And so it balances the tanginess of the citrus and the sweetness of the honey. And in this combination, the rosemary has an almost mint-like clean resinous quality that balances the other flavors.
You want to be a bit careful, dear. A little bit too much, and it starts to taste like soap.
Yes. The rosemary is easy to overdo, but I think I'm confident in my proportions here.
Wish you luck, and try it through the tasting, and then they will move along. Let's go ahead and do one by one again. Back to Mazi. All right, so you two, a detail. Like, first, do you think it's a triumph, or do you think it's a disappointment? And give one detail of why it is.
I really, really, really want to like swing this around to the other end and somehow have Mazi like fail up.
I have the
it be
perfect
like-
line. I have the perfect line, when we present and everything. So it could work.
To have it be like miraculously somehow the best thing that's ever been on the baking show.
I don't have to have that. I just
But
don't want to be
I
a total
just
failure.
I can't
There's no Midland judge here, okay? It's gotta be tried for
it's not like and with cakes, it's not like it's so bad that it's good. Not like
Yeah.
a movie where it can be so bad that
Yeah.
you're enjoying it anyway. So I'm gonna have to go with disappointment. Sorry,
don't like it
Mazi,
going
I love you. I love it going.
So it's a
love it.
triumph right there. Come
Love
on.
it.
The judges like the sound.
It's a pleasure to hear your cake. Unfortunately, not really what the judges are looking for in a cake.
Pleasure to hear your cake.
There's no category to grade your cake on sound appreciation. It's not an ASMR friendly community in the GBBBO.
No.
So I will
Oh.
say something interesting that has happened is that in the process of making the cake, the glaze goes on the bottom of the cake pan and the pineapples go into that and the cherries go into that and then the batter goes on top of that. And interestingly enough, when it comes out of the cake pan and it goes, we have found that it has actually created a jelly coating around the outside of the cake. So it's like it's actually not awful. there's a
It coagulated.
pineapple, exactly. There's a pineapple cherry layer of goo on the outside that's actually really good, surprisingly. But the cake inside is all it's all wrong. It's all wrong. It's so wrong.
I'm afraid I have to concur.
I mean, I feel like the way you were describing it feels like it was like, something out of the 70s. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually inside of each pineapple, it's got a peeled banana standing on its end, and there's a cherry on top of the banana, and there's some whipped cream around the top of the cherry, and sort of it's a candle pineapple upside down, right side up cake.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I
know
can
that
supply a
reference.
picture if you need.
I know that reference.
I would love to see
Yep.
this reference, to be honest, but post in the Discord chat, so just in case I want to pull it for later, I can.
And I think the problem with the cake itself, the glaze is yummy, but I think the problem with the cake itself is that all that huge quantity of pineapple, even though you drained it, released too much liquid. I'm afraid what you have, dear, is a claggy sponge.
Shame.
I like it.
Claggy.
Delicious. Delicious.
Anyway. Okay. Great. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Oh, no, I fully intended to not
wanted
win.
it to fail up so bad. I just wanted to
No.
work it so that it would be like, this is actually really, really good, but I just couldn't make it. I couldn't make it happen.
Right. And then we'll do it now. So basically you've brought it up, and then they I mean, or at least Jane tries it, and then she will, since this is a different kind of format, then she's going to let Sue and Timothy also have taste, like to be able to share a plate. And I think the looks on all their faces in varying degrees is of it has a pleasant taste and then not. And the texture, unfortunately, is all wrong, for the simple reason that when you put in the pineapple, it had absorbed all of that juice in the can, and even with proper drainage, you needed to literally squeeze it dry because it released too much liquid. And unfortunately, now we have, as unfortunately, a claggy sponge, which is unforgivable. So, and then Timothy and Sue are both like, I've used loofahs with a lot more texture than this. And Sue has a different comment, but it's rather sexual, so we're not going to put it here. Anyway, poor marks on that. Sorry. And then
I still look fantastic. So
oh, you look great. You look great. I think everybody's like, very appreciative of the fact that like, you still look wonderful, even though your apron is completely like smeared. And then
oh yeah,
the cake looks smeared.
it's a little like tilted to one,
It's
like it was starting to like
jiggly. This is not a good thing.
It's a little jiggly and it's starting to like list to one side. With the like the little bit of heat or anything is just like it's droopy.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You can be saggy and still fun.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like the tagline to this show.
Saggy yet fun.
Gotta write that down. Damn it. Yet fun. All right, great. Okay. Cynthia. All right. So you two, what do we think of Cynthia's cake? Triumph or disappointment?
I think it's a triumph. I think it has come together well. It's correctly baked, so the texture is good. And the balance of apricot filling to chocolate glaze is just right. Neither one shouts over the other. Both are present without overwhelming.
My turn?
Hmm?
Okay. I'm over here having a coughing attack too. So I'm gonna say it was a triumph, and specifically it's a 20-layer cake, but you made like 60 of these little pancakes to make sure that you had ones that were exactly the right, like you overmade enough to make sure that all of them were as identical as they could be. So it's just perfectly dimensioned. They're all lined up like when you stack casino chips and they look really, really nice. It's that satisfying layering that you managed to get. So as far as like presentation, it's gorgeous. Now I go call.
And yeah, Jane will make that comment as she cuts through it. It's like, that's quite smooth. And behold, and then she she cuts the wedge, puts it in, and then she kind of holds it up to the camera and kind of turns it a little bit so you can see how beautiful it is in the glaze around. And then when you see the layers, she turns it, it's like, they're perfect. I mean, you see every layer delineated, and then of course, since you made more than the usual 20, it's like it's just stacked up beautifully, and it's like it's got a beautiful height. Every layer is thin but fluffy, so again, it's like it's not flattened or stale stale looking or what have you. And again, she gently puts it down, everybody takes a bite, and then you can see Sue's face. She's like, and then Timothy's like, yeah, right. Haven't seen layers like this since, and then I can't think of a proper English reference at the moment, but and then Jane looks at you and this is quite good. This is amazing. It's simple but yet elegant in its simplicity, and the taste and the texture and the bake is wonderful. Good job. And from her, that's a very good compliment. So, and I think Caviar's outside and he's starting to do the paw thing.
Meow.
Meow. And just for funsies, it's like I'm going to ask one of you to tell me how. Let's see. Let's have Pearl tell me, how does Scott's showstopper measure up? Is it a triumph or is it a disappointment?
I think it's a triumph. He has shaken off his distress. Apparently he is dealing with all the chaos and all the disappointment and all the no doubt mixed feelings and so on and so forth of this very exceptional situation by becoming more laser focused than ever. And he looks kind of frazzled at this point, kind of done in. His hair is not as neat and tidy as usual. There's one bit of it that's sort of from rubbing at his face, but he has turned out a beautiful cake. I forget if we established what it was he was making.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
I think it was like the 5-tier bit. Like he
Oh
was making
yes, he
5
was
tiers.
making a very tall cake. So I think it's a I'm gonna say a spice cake with vanilla rum frosting and lots of piped decoration.
Okay. So I think for his cake, I think everyone is taking a bite and just, well, first off, they're admiring of the piping. I mean, they are saying that this is the most perfect piping they've ever seen. And so, I mean, like, he's beaming because of that, because I mean, like, he was always talented with like the outside. It was always the inside of things that would just like kind of like throw him off, and so they take a bite of it and then they're really enjoying the flavor. They've never had a spice cake like this before. So whatever like ingredients that he had, and then like he's proudly like saying how this is one of the recipes that he learned at his grandmother's knee. And like, he's proud to redeem himself for this, for sure. And then Melanie brings up her concoction, and I don't remember what I said about her concoction, but I mean, like,
The
like,
offset layers.
yes, the offset layer, so it's more sculptural, because I think they've said before that her stuff was kind of like bland looking, tastes all right, tastes good enough to make it to the next round. But I mean, like, like she's always been kind of safe with her presentation, rather than like kind of trying something that kind of gives them a spectacle, especially for something like a showstopper. I mean, like, you want to do something, right? And so, she tried this tiered, like not tiered, but like offset thing, like with the dowels and what have you. I'm going to ask Cynthia, do you think it was a triumph or a disappointment?
I think it would have been a disappointment
Mm-hmm.
had it made it to the judges. Unfortunately, she didn't leave because she was so concerned with making it a structural object. She didn't bake her cakes long enough, so they're underbaked. And when you put on the buttercream and the layering and the structural pipes and the angling and everything, at the very last moment, it topples and it's heartbreaking. And there's no saving it.
I mean, she can at least take one of the layers and present it, but you
Yes.
see I mean, it's almost like, what is that? Not the walk of shame. Just like
The
she's
agony
walking
of
to the,
defeat.
yes, the agony of defeat, basically. I mean, like,
Walk of pain.
she doesn't want to bring what she has left to the judging table, but she forces herself to pick up the one layer that seems relatively okay to cut and eat.
Face just steered with tear,
Yeah,
to-
she's like trying so hard.
stained with tears. There we go.
Exactly, stained with tears. I mean, she's just trying hard not to sob audibly. Let's put it that way. That's how heartbreaking it is. And so she presents it gently, and Sue and Timothy are looking the most sympathetic you've ever seen them. And Jane tries to keep that whole, like, keep calm and carry on look. And they all take a bite, and they're saying, in each in their turn, like in their way, how good it tastes, except it is underbaked. And so therefore the texture's wrong, and that's why it fell. And Jane even kind of commiserates a little bit, saying, we saw it before it fell, dear. It looked beautiful. But unfortunately, it did not make it to table. And so this was a disappointment. She kind of does this weird little curtsy thing, like where she kind of like like, bends at the knee and just kind of bobs a curtsy, and she's like, thank you. And then she's like, slowly takes her plate, like the presentation plate away, and goes back to her seat, and she's just slumped there, like now she's crying, she don't care. And so now we get to Pearl. And that, like, in the regular show, they don't necessarily show people in the same order that they actually got judged, right? That. So, I mean, who knows how it's going to look like when they actually, like, bring this episode to air. But I mean, Pearl, you're last. And so I'm going to ask you guys. So what did you think? Do you think that Pearl has a triumph or disappointment?
Failed. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's a triumph.
Clearly, it's a triumph.
Clearly,
what are we
it's
even
triumph.
doing
Like,
here?
We don't go to her house and eat every day.
I mean, if I'm voting, she wins.
She wins.
Sure.
For sure.
Well, what's the detail that really, I mean, it was already an impressive description, and, like, for what's the story was that Pearl was saying.
Oh, I didn't really describe my story, I don't think. I used the edible flowers I used are calendula petals, which are in shades of red and orange and yellow, and the blossoms of the rosemary itself, which are tiny purple blossoms. And I've arranged those into a sunset. And my statement about it is, I'm not ashamed to own that I am in what many would call the sunset years. And some people think that's just, sad and dark and ending. No, this is a beautiful time. And I am enjoying myself, and I am enjoying sharing the beauty that I find in these years.
So the judges, or I should say Jane and Timothy and Sue are, well, again, Jane is keeping as neutral as possible, while Sue is kind of clapping behind Timothy's back, like, applauding you. And then Timothy's like, righto, and, they're both looking very pleased. And then they all get a taste of your cake. And she's almost like tasting it like as if it was wine, because she's moving from one side of her mouth to the other. And then she's kind of like actually doing something very casual that she wouldn't normally do. But she kind of waves like her fork around and says, there was thought put into this cake. And I can appreciate your sunset years, dear, as I am experiencing that myself. Normally, I don't like food with riotous color. Cakes shouldn't be red or yellow in this way. Gives more of an artificial look, but you've managed to make this very natural. Like yourself, I imagine. And this is wonderful. You've done a smashing good job. And then behind her, like, you see like Sue and Timothy like give each other the high five and go, yes. And so I don't know if you if you two want to, like, say a detail of like how much further it's a triumph, but I mean,
when you bite into it, glitter and fairies shoot out, and you can hear a song playing, a chorus of angels drifts in through the window, and it actually does your taxes for you.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I just call it better than sex cake.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
That's it.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
We don't need buck. No.
Yeah. And I think, as you move back to your spot, I think, Timothy and Sue will move forward as Jane kind of steps back away from the table again with her neutral expression back on. And Timothy will say, "Now, the judge, with our help, will deliberate, and we will release you to the wilds." Oh my God, there. And we will decide who is the winner of GBBO. B-O. And yeah, so you guys are released out for the judges to remain in the tent and then deliberate. And while this is happening, now is your opportunity to take a look-see at the clues. So for GBBBO, you currently have 11 clues, 2 of which still need to be determined by Mazi and Pearl, okay? And again, put your thumbs on the scale, like once you come up with a theory or what you think how things tie together, this is a perfect opportunity to create something that will contextualize but not conclusively solve, all right? A pile of receipts suggesting extravagant expenditures. A cookbook authored by Jane and Paul, with one of Paul's recipes torn out. Extremely valuable diamond earrings shaped like loaves of bread. The TBD from Mazi, the TBD from Pearl. An unreasonable contractual demand. A rolling pin flecked with blood. Buckingham Palace invited the cast and crew of the Jolly Good Baking Show, with one name conspicuously missing. Ball gag, handcuffs, and a riding crop. Outtake suggesting a very tense off-camera relationship, and a dressing down from the head of the BBC. All right, so I'm going to any theories whatsoever for all the clues that are on the board. Again, you don't have to use them all. However, you want to make sure that you have open, freewheeling discussion about the solution to the mystery. Once you've gathered a number of clues equal to at least half the mystery's complexity, rounded up, and reach a consensus. You're going to roll plus the number of clues incorporated into the theory or otherwise explained away, minus the mystery's complexity. Okay? So,
I have the start of a theory.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Let me go into the mystery and then I'm going to start marking off clues, hopefully. Okay.
It was Donna.
Oh, okay.
Just throwing it out there. It's Donna with the rolling pin. Obviously in his trailer. Don't have to do that because that's where he was found. She found the pile of receipts suggesting the extravagant expenditures, as well as the outtakes suggesting the off-camera relationships, and put 2 and 2 together that those gifts were being purchased not for her, but for some of these extra parties off camera, and obviously became jealous and honk, decided to off him. Additionally, I was thinking that her name was the one left off of the Buckingham Palace invite, and that despite Scott being kicked off the show on an earlier episode, maybe his name was actually on the invite.
Okay. Right.
See, I wasn't sold when you started. I was like, Donna, what does she have to gain? She's got all of Paul's money. But you brought me around.
But he's obviously
Paul's using his money. But I don't think that the off-camera relationship was with Scott necessarily. I think it might have been with Melanie.
Ooh, I like it.
I think that Melanie joined in an attempt to get close to Paul. And when she did get close to Paul, despite what she wanted to have happened, they actually became close and started to have an extramarital affair. And the ball gag and handcuffs and riding crop actually do not belong to Donna. They were Paul's, in Paul's trailer, and Donna moved them in order to avoid someone going, well, he was having an affair. Who's going to kill him if he's having an affair? Because clearly she
Nice.
wasn't there until he got killed, right? So it's not her.
True.
Mm.
I also could add that the cookbook that's missing Paul's recipes.
Yeah.
Maybe he knew that his recipes were very good and he pulled the pages out to, give them to Melanie as a one-up. Like, if you use mine.
I
I
think
have
maybe that's
a different interpretation of the missing recipes.
Oh, yeah, here.
My thought is that we've already established that Paul is a serial philanderer, right?
Yeah.
clearly.
Yes.
I think he had a fling with Jane in the past, and she ripped his contributions out of their book as a symbolic gesture of, I have to be civil on camera, but he is not part of my life anymore. And I think that she also returned the bread loaf earrings that he gave her. He got those for her because giving earrings shaped like loaves of bread to any of his other paramours would have, okay, who's the baker behind this? But Jane could wear loaves of bread. Everybody would go, well, that's Jane. That's who she is. And I think the unreasonable contractual demand may have had something to, and possibly also the dressing down, may have had something to do with Paul trying to edge Jane off the show once they were apart.
See, I thought the dressing down was because he was having an affair with one of the contestants.
That's also possible.
Like, this man cannot keep it in his pants.
No,
Which
definitely
would
not.
which might also trigger a dressing down from the head of the BBC, depending on who he's philandering with. And again, if he is considered a serial philanderer, I mean, it doesn't have to be
one
Jane
person or another,
right. It could, I mean, who the hell knows, like, who like what could have pissed off the head of the BBC or whatever, you know what I mean?
Contestant involving one or more contestants, that's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, this is supposed to be a clean competition in terms of,
And maybe that's why she was so nervous after he got killed, not only because then it's going to come out that they were having an affair, but also she didn't have that leg up in the competition like she wanted, or like she thought she had.
Yeah, she was relying on his tilting things in her favor.
All right, so then like you have 9 clues, it looks like, accounted for. Now it just depends on you two to come up with your to be determined clues if you want to put more weight on the scale.
Right. Okay, so Donna killed him because he was messing around in every possible direction.
Would she have been the one putting him in the weird ritualistic?
I don't think so. I think
she got somebody to do it for. I have an idea. The way
she did that was just like so freaky.
I have an idea. Sorry. So going back,
we are excited.
I am excited. Okay. So Buck is the one that actually did the murder by Donna's using getting him into the bodybuilding magazine. And my scrapbooking clue is a clue that has a picture from one of the competitions, and it has in the background, it has Donna and Buck like in the background of the picture discussing something. Like very clearly they're having a discussion. It's not, obviously that's not what the picture is. It's of whatever bodybuilder won whatever thing, but it's they're in the background. You can
background
clearly
detail.
See them. Yeah.
And I think what I noticed that pointed to our favorite or least favorite, depending on one's opinions, cameraman, um, his involvement, is that I noticed the strap on one of the pieces of his camera equipment is obviously a homemade replacement strap of elaborately braided cord. And I think that the cord that was used to tie Paul up wasn't braided for the purpose. It was braided cord because Buck was trying to hold him down with something that was close at hand. Used his camera strap and then had to make a replacement so that people wouldn't wonder where his camera strap had gone. You're muted, Mads.
Damn. So basically what you're saying is, like, you know, Donna did kill him and she and Buck knew each other before even this, regardless of what he said, and that he is in collusion because something that he used on hand at the time is now replaced with, like, you know, pretty much just a flimsy substitute because he had to use the strongest thing that he had on hand at the time. Wow, those are two very strong clues. Love that. Okay. All right. So basically that you're saying it's Donna and Buck. Now, here's the thing. Now, we've covered all these clues, so that conceivably gives you guys a plus FOA. Plus FOA. Now, who gonna roll? Could be one person. It could be one die each for two people.
The other two not edited.
Not
so
edited.
bad.
That's amazing. That is so amazing. Unfortunately, you know, I will come up with your episodes quite soon, so this way it's like people can see the goofiness that you did beforehand for this. All right, so
Okay, so we're doing what? 2d6 plus 4?
correct.
9.
Okay. 9. Let's see. On a 7 to 9, it is the correct solution, but the keeper will either add an unwelcome complication to the solution itself or present a complicated or dangerous opportunity to take down the culprit or save the day. Oh boy. Or I'm going to make the suggestion. I don't normally make the suggestion. However, you could conceivably all mark crowns and then raise that to a 10 plus. So there is no complication and it's not dangerous.
Oh, but we want to make a spicy episode, don't we? Of a great GBBBO, however many B's there are. You're muted, Cynthia.
They're not going to air this. For that we can be certain of. This will not hit broadcast television. You know me, I love a good failure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm here for a good failure.
Okay. Well, I mean, like,
failure.
you're not a failure. It's just a
Partial
mixed result. It's just a mixed result.
Complications.
Yes. Complications. Oh my gosh.
To say the least.
Yeah, exactly. Oh boy. I'm going to ask you, how do you three want to do this? Are we doing this on broadcast television? You know, or at least local. I don't know how far this show gonna go, but we doing this on broadcast TV, or are you doing it like after everybody's done the hearty handshake and the presenting of the
roses
of the roses and the cake and the cake
stand.
platter or whatever. Yeah, the cake stand.
You shake the hand and then pull them in close, and they're like, "I know your secret."
Well, is Donna even going to be there? Is she going to be on set?
She might not.
She might not.
She's not on camera for this. I mean, she's not an on-camera member of this cast.
So do we want to wait till right after?
Although I will say that like Sheriff Dalrymple is of course like on hand at this point, because I mean, like, it's the finale, and so, you know, I don't think you knew this, but I mean, like, he did watch the show, and he would be like quite interested to see like, who out of the remaining 5 had, survived to the end.
Question.
Yeah.
How many camera people are there?
Assume that like not just Buck, of course. There's going to be like, a few cameras like, rolling around, like, so, he's the main one. He's the one that'll be trained on everybody that lines up to be, to get the news, right?
So
And then there's going to be like, a couple
Yeah.
of others that'll do a different angle, like maybe like, of the audience of whoever's out there. And then like, maybe also from the perspective of the judges, to be able to like put a view on them, because I mean, like they do editing, right? Cuts back
Mhm.
and forth between footage. So yeah.
So do we have a chance before the judging announcement? Do we have a chance to kind of get together and like game
Make a
plan? Yeah.
right.
Considering that they're deliberating in the tent, you have some opportunity to kind of wander about and then obviously figure this out. Freewheeling discussion, this was out of character, so
Right.
took a moment, whatever. And then like, if you guys have a plan.
Yeah. So like kind of back in character, like maybe get, once we've got our little theory down and like, okay, so how do we want to break it? I'm thinking we somehow, okay, so there's Joseph over on the camera. He's usually off to the right side. And then Melanie runs or not Melanie, that's a bad name. Give me a different name, guys. Sharon runs the other camera that's, she's usually on the left side, and then Buck's in the middle, right? Maybe we could get like Sharon to point at Donna, and then get whatever the other guy's name was, I forgot already. Joseph to point at Buck, and then
Introducing new characters in the last scene.
they're the cameramen, all right? Camera people. And get them to point the cameras at them, and we could somehow like make the announcement then, be like, we could maybe do it segue first into Donna, as like our condolences go out to Donna, and then have the camera pan in on her, and then Buck though somehow pull that off. I don't know. I'm not good at planning. I'm just good at driving. I mean, I'm just good at
you've got a good start here.
Yeah, definitely a good start for sure.
And we're all agreed we're not gonna like tell the sheriff we're doing this, right?
What is he gonna do?
Yeah,
We told him to stay by the edge of the tent, just in case something happens.
He'll be lucky if he's not already wandered off to craft services by the time all of this happens.
Isn't it Jane that carries the little flask around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we should start by framing this as a tribute to the late great Paul Revere.
Mm-hmm.
And of course our condolences to Donna and to all the other people to whom he was so very close.
Panning on Buck.
Spicy.
And as things get blah, 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 around us, as they undoubtedly will, we name some names and air some dirty laundry and wrap it all up with the case against the culprits.
I mean, I'm just saying, and I'm gonna look to Cynthia like, I think we're in agreement that Pearl, you're probably gonna win. You could do it as your acceptance speech. That's a thing, right?
I mean, if I win, I will kind of have the floor a little bit. So
Yeah.
I don't know that it's guaranteed. I like to think I have a good chance, but
You have the best chance. Don't
you have
be
the best
modest,
chance.
Pearl.
Yeah.
that cake did kick ass.
Thank you.
I had a can cake, okay?
It made a great sound.
It was a
It did
neat
make a good
idea.
sound.
And I think if you caramelize the pineapple first and put it back in the can.
Oh, maybe that's what he used to do.
Leave the bananas off next time.
All right. Yeah, I had a friend that used to make it, and I was like, I don't understand how this works, but
Yeah. No, I think if you caramelize the pineapple to draw off
Mm.
a little extra moisture and add a little extra caramelly flavor
okay.
and leave the banana out so you have a greater percentage of batter. I'm getting distracted. Okay.
Yeah,
I will
okay.
stop talking baking.
We know.
Yes.
Start talking murder.
Start talking less baking, more murder. Got it.
Oh, and the reason that Mazi's rolling pin was the murder weapon is really easy and obvious. It was
She wasn't using it.
well. Well, I was going to say it's because her
Shots fired.
station.
You
Her,
mean a rolling pin for a cake? Sorry.
her station is the one that's closest to
Box
Paul's
camera.
to Paul's tent
Oh, sure. Yeah.
or Paul's
Gotcha.
Paul's trailer. I mean, so it was just an easy matter of
Swipe,
grab
go.
the first thing at hand and go.
Mm.
Did you leave it
Hold
somewhere
on.
weird?
Did you say my rolling?
Does she know
Yeah.
about that? Do we know about that?
We know. I don't think she knows. Yeah, I didn't mention that earlier. Yes, it was.
Yeah, you mentioned a rolling pin, but you didn't say it was mine.
Yeah,
I
well,
didn't need it anyways, but that's besides the point.
yes. I thought briefly it might have been an attempt to frame you, but that didn't seem very likely since it would have been a really thin frame without a lot more corroboration.
Right.
That doesn't seem to have happened. So that's why I think it was pure coincidence and not an attempt to frame you.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're gonna win and you're gonna get your acceptance speech, and that's when you're gonna do it. I have the car ready, it's gassed up in case we need it. Just saying. Jojo's out back waiting. So we're good.
I don't think we'll need a swift getaway.
Things could go
Caviar
down.
and I are on call as needed, of course.
Very good. Very good.
I wore my low heels today, so I can run.
Nice. All right, let's do it.
All right.
Okay.
Now remember, you also have access to the Gold Crown Mysteries move. Okay, so you need to take a look at that once per mystery. When any Maven says, "This reminds me of something that happened to Amanda Delacourt," work with the other players to describe how something that is happening in the situation reminds the Mavens of an event from one of the Gold Crown Mysteries. At a minimum, you must provide the following: the name of the Gold Crown Mystery in question, no repeats, please. So obviously, like each mystery that you mention a completely different mystery title. The problem or situation Amanda found herself in that is similar to what the Mavens are experiencing, and how Amanda eventually overcame the problem or resolved the situation. All right. That applies a 12 plus automatically to a single relevant role, or you state a fact about the current situation that the keeper must incorporate. Okay. And again, generally speaking, this move can only be used once per mystery per group. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. I think we
Wonder-
want to keep that in our back pockets for dealing with
What's coming next?
yeah, whatever whatever
Mm.
chaos happens when we make our announcement.
All right.
Pans are gonna
So-
fly.
Okay. So I think nearing the end of your conversation, it's like, they start calling you all back, and then they gather you onto the flat part of the hill that they've placed this on, and they are bringing out the flowers and the cake stand. So obviously the bouquets are in increasing order of importance and volume for the runners up and the winner. But of course, they're only going to make the announcement of the winner. So you've got Buck, of course, trained on you three. You've got Joseph, kind of panning the camera towards the judges and trying to keep Buck out of the camera shot. And then Sharon, she's kind of like making the round, so this way like she's capturing everything else that's going on and getting different angles for like B-roll and stuff. So the sheriff is there along with, of course, the other crew, with the production, and he is just kind of, he's there and he's got his arms like crossed in front, and he's just kind of like looking at you all like sternly, and just waiting to hear the results. Yeah, I think it's Sue that gives the final speech, and she says, "You are all wonderful. It has been a grand pleasure to have been here and to see each of you grow and improve and create such spectacular bakes. But there can only be one winner. And that winner is," suspenseful silence, "Pearl."
Oh,
And everybody claps, and everybody, and like, they rush over to you, give you the big hugs and kisses, and just pretty much like thrust the humongous bouquet at you. And then Jane is there giving you the beautiful crystal cake stand with the GBBBO, Jolly Good Baking Show, and all that kind of stuff like etched on it.
Quick thing. And
Okay.
kind of the commotion
Mhm.
of the excitement and everything. I imagine that Cynthia and I can kind of step off a little bit to the side,
Yes.
and I would kind of nudge Cynthia and do like the motion over to Joseph,
Mhm.
and be like, and then I'll sidle over again in the commotion over to Sharon, the other camera person, and get ready to kind of like tap and either
direct their attention.
yeah. So basically getting in the wings to be ready for the announcement.
Mhm.
One wonders if the sheriff has noticed you moving, but
There's a lot going on. I mean,
there's
there's
a lot
cheering
going on.
and we're still clapping, and it would have been like a nudge.
Well, they would have like handed you the roses or the bouquets, and then kind of like rush to turn
Off the
or go
side.
to like Pearl, because everybody wants to give the congratulations and such.
Right.
So yeah.
I would it be possible for me to say something at this time? I'm just so delighted.
Speech.
I just want to say what an extraordinary experience this has been. What a delight it's been meeting new friends and baking with all of you and getting to show what I can do. And there's one person who ought to be here today who sadly isn't, as we all know. Paul Riviera was very much part of this show, part of the heart of this show. For all his sternness as a judge, we know he had a big heart.
Some sarcastic looks, like if you look at the other people,
Yes.
maybe some furtive sarcastic looks.
Possibly too big a heart, considering that well, we know his dear widow Donna. We are so sorry, Donna. Gesturing at her so everybody has to look and she can't just wander off.
She's looking uncomfortable in the yet again, like different patterned leopard spots that she's wearing. She's got a big ass bow in her head too. I don't know
and
why.
I'm whispering to Sharon, pan in on her. Do it now. Yeah.
She's looking uncomfortable rather than grieving. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Speech.
But there were others who were, in their own way, just as close to him. And
Melanie and Scott will look real uncomfortable in their own way, and even Jane kind of does that little like mouth purse / twist. So
at this last moment, I am deciding, I'm not going to out them by name. Everybody can figure out by themselves. an uncharacteristic bit of mercy from Pearl. But
Sharon's kind of getting into it because, like, she's noticing all the different looks, and so she's doing that roundabout, like really slowly getting the pan. Maybe like you see her adjusting for zoom, right?
I like Sharon. But the unfortunate fact is that Paul's generosity with his time and resources and affections is, I'm afraid, what got him into trouble. And it is sad but true that in the end, this was too much for his dear Donna's patience. And she, sadly, with the help of our, shall we say, overly impressionable, if delightfully muscular cameraman Buck.
Like you see like the camera on your face, but then like, behind it is a slow.
They are the reason that Paul Riviera is no longer with us. They murdered him.
And with that, I think there's a scream as, before anybody can really react. I think that Donna will scream, and she's just furious. And she, amazingly enough, like stomps over quite quickly, and she just grabs Buck by the arm and then just starts to drag him away. And he's realizing, oh, better get out while the getting's good. Yeah, the sheriff's not moving very quite quickly, and he didn't think to bring his deputies along today. Because this was for him. He wanted to see who would win. But anyway, yeah, so she drags him away, and they're running out and heading out from here. And yeah, Buck's just kind of just dropped his camera and starting to yeah, run after Donna. I think he's taller than she is, so he's overtaking her, of course, because she's still wearing heels, stupid spotted heels. But yeah, they're trying to get away, and everybody's just so shocked. It's like, they're murmuring amongst themselves, like, "What do you mean by that? What's going on?" Da da da. And
can I send Caviar to trip them up?
Ooh. Okay,
like
so this would be. I'm still gonna say through Caviar, this is gonna be a day move. What are you afraid will go wrong?
I'm afraid that they'll accidentally step on Caviar.
Okay. All right.
Ooh.
So
He's a brave boy, but he's still just a cat.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say for Caviar, this is gonna be composure.
Okay. Nice.
Well, you through Caviar, it's composure. Yeah.
So is that 2d6 plus 1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh God, why?
What'd you get?
I rolled 2 2s and a 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, a 5. Whoosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh. This reminds me.
Yes.
Remember in what was it called? The one at the state fair.
Funneled.
The funnel
yeah,
case murder?
yeah, it was no, that was the chapter title. It was
Oh.
wasn't it? Well, it
What
was
the fuck?
blue ribbon bruises, was it? Or no?
No,
there
I
were
think that's
two.
right.
No, there were two at fairs. That's why I was thinking there was the state fair and the county fair. No, you're
Oh,
right. It was the
jeez.
funnel one. It was the funnel one. Um, uh, funnel cake, fraud, something. Anyway,
Funnel
um,
cake philandering.
oh, that was it. Funnel cakes, and philandering.
Mm.
Mm.
And when the
Delacorte.
culprits were trying to flee from the judging in the quilting tent, someone kicked a quilt frame out to trip them. Now we don't have quilt frames here, but we do have those tall kitchen stools.
Oh,
Ooh.
yes. Yeah.
And if someone
This is
kicks
just
one
like
of
that.
those, yeah, it's exactly like that.
So I guess who kicks it then?
One of you two is going to be close to the side of the tent. So whichever direction, whichever one of you is in the direction that they ran.
I think Mazi's probably closest to the door, so she can make the getaway to the car.
Oh
right?
yeah. You were ready to head to the
To
car
try to
so you
bowl
can-
him over
Yeah,
with
yeah.
a chair. All right, I'm on it. So I will.
So you don't even have to roll because
You're
right
muted,
because it's
Mads.
Hold on. Yeah. So basically, you either state the fact about the current situation, or you just take the 12 plus. So
Pearl, you saved caviar. Thank you.
I
so
wouldn't want caviar to get hurt. He's so fluffy.
He's
Exactly.
so fluffy.
So fluffy. All right, great. So yeah, I mean, you managed to kick. Well, you tell me what it looks like, because for 12 plus, I mean, that's something special. So you tell me what happens to not only stop them, but to try to neutralize them in some way.
So I imagine I was getting ready, because in my mind I was like, oh, they're gonna make an escape, and I was getting ready to I have my scissors still from earlier,
Mhm.
and from scrapbooking and stuff. I was thinking of cutting out through the tent right where I was at to try to cut them off maybe.
Mhm.
And she's like, I remember that when they threw the quilting thing, grab a stool. And I've got some really cool shoes on. They've got a nice little heel, and I'm gonna hook my heel through it and leg kick it at him to bowl it into
Yes.
him and be like wham, and just try to basically mow him over with it. And then as I'm doing it, I'm yelling to Dalrymple. I'm like, can you do your job? They're trying to get away.
And Caviar is going to jump straight into the air and dodge to the chair
Yeah.
and not get run over.
Oh yeah, because he can hear it coming.
Yeah.
It's not
Oh,
quiet.
totally. Totally. Absolutely. All right. So yes, you do manage to trip them up. I think it's one of those situations where you easily get Donna in the path of this stool, and then the way it careens off of her, it's going to go right around Buck's legs, and then kind of makes him trip and fall flat on his face with a heavy woof. And yeah, I think he'll still keep running though. And then she's she's already down, and I don't know if you want to pitch in on this, Cynthia, with Caviar on on Donna, who's prone right now, but you can go ahead and describe what you think happens.
Yeah, Caviar is in attack mode, so he's definitely gonna go for the closest human that is causing him distress, which is the backside of Buck as he runs away, and Donna's face. He is the old school style cloud of fighting, with just the arms and the feet coming out, scratching people's faces, hissing, making all the awful noises that cats make.
See, I was picturing him launching off of her face onto
Oh.
Yeah. And biting
Love
his
it.
butt.
Love it.
The hind
Attached.
claw rake as he
Yep.
Yes. Love it.
blasts off. Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
My face! And then she's back down on the ground, rolling in pain. As Buck gets the full on pure caviar.
He's like a 30-pound cat. Okay.
Yes,
He's a big
the
boy.
full on pure. Yeah, I mean, I think Buck's broad back is not able to take all of that, and it literally looks like Buck is trying to run away with a big furry cape on, but it ain't happening, man. And he's down, and he's yelling now because it's like it hurts like hell. So yeah, you didn't take care of Caviar's murder mittens, like you didn't cut his nails.
Oh no.
anytime
No.
recently.
He needs those for reasons.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, all right. I'm gonna call this. Yeah, I mean, unless you think that there's something else that happens. I mean, I think you guys, like subdue them enough that, I think like Pearl can finish her speech, and then Sharon's trained now on your face, Pearl, as you're like explaining like what you guys found and such. And then like Sheriff Dalrymple's like looking like really dark as he's putting them in cuffs and such. And yeah.
I am not directing any attention toward the sheriff at all, or giving him any credit for anything like he did anything.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I'm just like totally undermining his authority by just
Nice.
blatantly taking over the investigation
Yes.
very publicly.
Yeah. So okay.
Perfect.
And then once the hubbub settles down and the cameras are off, I will turn to Sue and Timothy and say, I'm sorry I couldn't tell you about any of that beforehand, but I guess this is just how things go sometimes. Do you want to join me and my friends for a little wind down afterwards?
They just kind of like have this look on their face like, what just happened? And then
Yeah.
like, then Timothy, I think, is the first one to kind of like, get his mouth like he literally takes his hand, brings his mouth closed, and then just says, that would be lovely.
I'll bring the food, you bring the refreshments.
Yeah.
Refreshments or refreshments? Wink. Absolutely. Okay. All right, great. So yeah, so what do you think? How do you see like the epilogue for each of you, whether together or separately? Where does that cake stand reside now in your house, Pearl?
Oh, it has a place of pride. Because, I'm not the world's most modest soul. And I did, by golly, earn that. Other trophies I have from my past exploits are not necessarily things I want to show off to the world, because, statute of limitations. But but this one I can claim honestly and openly, and I will.
Yes.
Woo.
Exactly.
I think maybe Buck's sending me letters from prison.
I think, yeah. I mean,
I'm not reading them though. They're
I would say, are you reading them and then
No.
are you responding? Are the two
no,
follow-up questions?
No, they're going straight in the trash.
Yeah, I think definitely enjoying the after show snacking and
Video game playing.
video games. Yes, that's what we'll be doing. The video games
Dance Revolution with the youths.
with the youths. Sharon, Rockstar Sharon.
Ah,
I want to make
we
sure
love
she
her.
gets. Yeah, she's definitely got to earn some desserts baked by Pearl. Of course, not
Reoccurring
by me.
character. Let's bring her back, Sharon.
We like Sharon. Maybe she was a local. They got like they've hired local help.
Yes.
So
Down.
she'll come up again.
Definitely.
Yes.
My favorite NPC so far.
I need Sharon's last name if that's the case then. Or you know what? Actually better off. Don't forget, in your Brindlewood Bay character keeper, there is a section called Brindlewood Bay. And this is your
Oh.
opportunity to throw people's names in there that
Yeah.
you've met that you'd like to see as recurring.
Oh yeah, people.
Yeah.
There we are.
People.
I put in
People and
the
places.
funnel cakes and philandering book.
Thank
for
you.
us.
Where did you put it?
In the Brindlewood Bay tab.
Ah, there we
There's
go.
the Golden Crown Mysteries.
Nice.
Crown
Very
Mysteries,
good. All right. Excellent. So yeah, so start putting in people in here, like, people that you've met or people that you want to remember, It's fun to
Okay.
hang.
Yeah.
It's fun to hang with locals.
Heck yeah.
All right. So, oh my goodness. So it is, we still have about like 40 minutes. So I'm happy to end the session here if you want, or we can see about, okay, we're going to introduce another mystery. What would you like to do?
Quick question. When is our next game?
Let's see. Hold on. Let me look at the calendar.
So I
Calendars
think
are
that'll
fun.
depend on whether I don't want to forget stuff.
Right.
No, I hear you. Okay.
The
So
14th, right?
yes, the 14th and the 28th. So
Okay.
second and fourth Tuesdays of the month.
I'm kind of leaning towards ending now. So we just
Okay.
start fresh next time.
I like
Okay.
a clean cutoff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we should
Perfect.
do our end of
Yes, that's
session
what I wanted to.
questions and all
Yeah,
of that.
that's what I wanted to make sure of. Okay. So end of session questions. Let's start with Mazi this time and then go left.
Okay. So did we solve the mystery?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
Did you
did.
secretly undermine the authority of a local official?
No, I don't think I secretly did it. I did it very blatantly when I was like, do your job. On TV, yelling at the
On
sheriff, do
TV.
your job.
Can
Oh
we
my
count
God.
that though? I feel like
I feel like
I'll leave that up to you guys if you want to count it or not. It was not secret though. If it depends on how heavy you weigh on that word.
I'll
take
let
it.
you. I'd say take it.
Take
All right.
it. Did you share a memory of a late
did
family
not.
member? Okay. All right. So take those 2 points and then clear your end of session questions and go ahead and change them if you want. All right. Cynthia, you solved a mystery for definite sure. Did you behave like a woman half your age?
no, I don't think so.
Okay. All righty. And did
Caviar
you
behaved like a cat half his age though.
now this is questions for you. Did you share a memory of a late family member?
Yes, I shared the memory of my late husband.
Yes, go for it.
Nice.
All right, so take those 2 points and then clear your end of session. And then go ahead and change your questions if you'd like. And Pearl, you solved a mystery. Did you behave like a woman half your age?
At least half, given that I'm like, yeah, let's smoke up and play video games.
There you go.
Yeah.
Go for it, girl. Did you secretly undermine the authority of a local official?
I
Yes.
stole the
Yeah.
the case solving limelight without ever once
Yes.
referring to the sheriff.
Correct. All right, go ahead and
Exactly.
take that point.
I got an advancement.
Yep. Okay.
Woohoo.
All right. And then don't forget to change your questions if you want. Okay.
Yep.
And yeah, if you're going to take an advancement, you can either take it now or just wait. But again, you get the choice of an additional Maven move as part of an advancement if you want. Okay. And then the drop down boxes should take care of whatever you need to do. And then you want to go ahead and clear your advancement track to, whatever is left.
Yep.
I think you have like one. Okay, great. Okay. So yeah. First mystery down. Yay.
Yay.
All right. So stars and wishes. Stars are things you liked about the game, the gameplay, each other, role play, anything, and then wishes for next time. Okay. So whoever wants to start.
I'll start. Mad props to Pearl, Kathleen, for your baking. I'm
The
like,
star of the show.
what is this? What are we playing? I thought we were like playing a murder mystery, and here we are like all drooling over cake. So yeah, like awesome description of like your cake and your baking knowledge and everything. That was a lot of fun to hear. Luna, you did a good job with yours as well. I'm very sad that you destroyed my cake, but I'm okay with it.
So sorry.
I know.
I wanted it to succeed.
I know. Mads, great job running it. I really liked like how we got to incorporate other characters that you didn't necessarily bring in. So I think that was a great addition, that we could just like throw names at people and you're like, yeah, go with it. You know, like you basically run with whatever we're literally throwing out. So I think that helps with everything. Wishes, I still want to see more of us doing, I don't know, I want to see some crime. I want to see some crime. I want a chance for us to use our previous life talents at some point. I don't know how that would work, but I want to highlight those a little bit more.
Don't worry, you will.
In the bingo hall. No.
No, it's going to be a little bit more
Dark.
underground. Yes, it'll be, the next mystery will be definitely more underground.
Tokyo Drift. Yes.
You're
like, no,
I mean,
still
not
off.
quite,
Pearl
but
basically got
close.
this
It's gonna be
one.
close. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. All right. So anyway,
I'll go next if you're done,
Okay.
Rachel. Okay, so stars and wishes. Stars to, of course, Pearl, for your amazing, just echoing everything that Rachel said. Mads, you make it so fun to play. Like, and Rachel, your character development, just like, I feel like Mazi exists and I love her. So
She's got a fascinator. She has to exist.
yeah, I mean, my goodness. Wishes, I agree. I want to see us get into something a little scarier, a little bit like sneaking around, a little bit like really being in danger, maybe, something spooky. I don't know. I want to up it. I think we're good. We're getting to feel each other out, and I'm really enjoying how we are handling things, but I want to feel scared for our characters.
Yeah.
So that's my wish. I want to take Sai and put her in a dangerous situation and then fail a roll miserably. That's my goal.
Fail gloriously.
Yes. Well, I have had such a delightful time with this mystery and with all of you that, just to start with, I just want to say that, because this is so much fun. I love how Cynthia and Caviar work as a unit. I mean, I love that Caviar right there when you need somebody attacked, but also just the clear rapport between you and your sweet fluffy bundle of claws. It's just so adorable. And I too feel like Mazi is a person. I mean, it's just so vivid and so ready to, okay, let's do this. I'm gonna go. I'm ready to drive a getaway vehicle or
Kick a stool.
kick a stool with great style and all with impeccable fashion sense. I mean, magnificent. And Mads, you first up, I almost feel like I cheated somehow by you picking this mystery, because it's just like so perfect. So perfect for Pearl. But I really enjoyed all of your NPCs. They're all distinct and likable or not. They're all, people that we can learn stuff about and not predict their reactions to a degree that's predictable, but their behaviors make sense. And their attitudes make sense. And it's not just this is what the plot requires them to do. This is, that's who they are. That's how they do things. That's what they do. And I love that. And I too am looking forward to getting into some darker territory with my sisters in crime. So
I'm knitting our face masks as we're crocheting them as we speak.
Speaking of which, the usual credit crawl, like thanking all these people, and then reviewing who's playing whom and all this kind of stuff. And then it fades from the usual environs of Brindlewood Bay in the evening. I mean, whatever you have done, to have fun and kind of send off Jane and Sue and Timothy and all the rest of the crew, away with a good time for Brindlewood Bay, at least. And it fades into kind of a more urban setting of Brindlewood Bay, like the kind that kind of gives you a noir feel, but made of chrome and just like a sleekness that isn't normally seen, kind of like giving you a nightlife feel. And you enter into this space, you hear some kind of club music playing. And then as you get closer, or as the camera comes closer and the audience hears some what originally sounded like club music, but goes into some eerie, discordant synths. We enter into this place, go down some dark carpeted stairwell into this place where patrons are seated at cabaret tables in front of the stage or whispering at the bar. Inaudible, because again, you hear this weird, discordant music. And the mirrored walls are reflecting these people. And as we get closer to them, their silhouettes turn into, they're wearing all robes. All of them are hooded. And then as the camera pans across the floor, you see in their hoods, each one of them is wearing a mask, smooth and white, like the faces of marble statues in a Greek temple. And you see them bobbing, talking to each other. Can't hear what they're saying. The synth music gets a little bit louder and louder as we pan backwards as the camera takes the long shot. And just as the camera seems to get to the door of this place before going up the stairwell, the synth music stops and all masks turn to the camera and it goes to black. And that is how we end tonight's episode.
All
And
right.
I will see you for the new mystery. Woo!
Yay. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.